Alright, hello, this is Josh with Logic Chronicles, and this is the inventory system again, and what we did last time was I finished explaining all the variables that went into the quest actor, all of those. We went through all the functions that are kind of related to this and the debugs, which are very important. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to start building kind of like a toolkit that we can use to just start making quest, alright? And depending on how long this kind of goes, might start making some of the actual displays and setting up quest. We'll see. But what you should be doing is you should be coming here and creating a macro library. If you don't know, come here. Sorry, not there. Come here. Blueprints, macro library, and then is it quest? Base quest. That's what you want to do. This. You want to put it under there. That way, only the children of this base quest over here. That way, its children can access this library. So the whole point of this is we just want to make a bunch of smaller macros so we can just plug these in and not have to worry about a whole lot that's going on. That way, it just kind of manages itself. And this will make more sense later on as I kind of as we start implementing some of these. But the first one are just some relevant checks. This is all I'm going to do. First thing was I'm going to call that function. Say is relevant. Yeah. Let me see here. Is relevant. Why is it not there? Oh, this is kind of annoying. Okay. Say is relevant actor. I spelled that wrong, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, what you want to do is, besides the spelling, what you want to do is just kind of get that out, and this should be from the base actor, yeah, in the base quest, and then just do a check, yes or no. You just want to check if it's relevant. That way we can just filter off the class. Same thing right here. We'll do that same sort of check with the actor class, and then same sort of check here with the widget class, and so I don't know why I did this differently. I guess I could have done with the actor class. The whole point of this is the check if the class is relevant, and then we're gonna check if it's the class that we even want to check for. So is it relevant first off, and is it a class we're looking for? And I guess I'm gonna do that over here in this one too, and say does this double equal? Actually. Yeah, I think this is kind of stupid. I don't know why I did that. So we're just checking if this class is basically the same thing as the class that we're going to input. So like that's stupid. Don't know why I did that. There's that. That's fixed. So now we got those done. That's all those are doing. All right. If you don't know, you can put execute or then, and it'll just blank this out, which is something kind of neat. We're gonna do something to check for the gather index. So we're just gonna put in one index into start. And just say get gather, and we should come up with the function get gather information and just plug that in as so. And I actually named these so that way next time when I just plug it into another macro, it'll just instantly put the name in. But this is just to check. Okay, now after all that, after this function, we dive in here. We have this error message. It's going to check to make sure that these are correct, and if we put everything in correctly, it's just going to return whatever the progress you've made and the target progress we need for that index. And then we're going to say, okay, is it greater than or equal to? Did you actually make it to that target? Did you succeed or failed? And the next one over here, this idea is just a check to do multiple of those. So we're just going to have a whole set of indexes that are coming in here. That way we don't duplicate indexes, we just get each one is unique. And then we're going to turn that into an array, do a for loop with break, and then we're going to have this local variable just kind of check that. And then we're just going to call this macro we just made. And we're going to insert the index right here. And so that way it's going to go through and say, okay, each time it'll keep calling up this macro and say, okay, check these indexes. All right, let's move on to the next index, check this index, and then it'll keep on going. and we're just going to say if it succeeded, we're just going to set this boolean to true, because so far that's fine. It works. Now if it failed, we're gonna say failed and just break right off the bat. That way when we come here, we're gonna check it. Did it actually succeed all of them? Are all of the indexes we need to check true? Do we can succeed all of it? Yes, then it's passed. If one of them fails, then the whole thing fails. That's just the way this check is gonna work. All right. So this is just a kind of quick way to kind of like gauge that. So say you want to check if you have some amount of food, check the amount of money you collected, check all these different sort of things. Have a checklist of like a grocery list of what you need to get. And that's it for the relevant checks. The next thing is for journal entries. I will only do a handful of these up to, so some of these need another macro to go in. But what I'm going to do is just get an update, which is just a name going to a quest status. That way we can just do turn it to keys, do a for loop, and then what it will do is it will attempt to go through the for loop and just update the quest. Same thing so over here. We're going to check the quest journal. Is that ID valid? If it is valid, then add it to the dynamic one. So now we know what's saved, that these have already been done, and these are the statuses of the outcomes. If it failed, then it'll tell you, okay, we couldn't find this entry. That means whatever entry you put in here, we couldn't find. And then we're just going to update it based off of whatever we input for the map. And this just updates all of it. So that way we don't have to manually set each and every entry. This will just do it for us. So it'll just keep updating them. Because you're going to want to keep switching these in and out. So one key one time, a key might be in progress. Then the next time the next update, you might need to change that one to complete. But at the same time, while you're changing this one to complete, you might as well just add in another one that'll just insert a brand new journal update, so let the player know what they're supposed to be doing next after they completed that. So that's the whole purpose of that. Moving on to the next one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like some of these, I think I'm gonna have to finish these in a couple seconds. Explain the rest of the macros. This display is really kind of tough because you kind of need to set this up yourself. But what I'm doing is I'm coming here, I'm taking the player, I'm getting their HUD, I'm casting to a widget they're actually using, or I'm casting to the HUD that I'm using, and I'm calling a function that'll actually just display the information on the screen. So that way I can just call this from the actual quest itself to update it. So like for instance, if I come here, if I hit to this, notice this one right here. This is the entry, right? Now, if I come over here for this one, I gotta go kill one of these two guys. One of them. Say okay. I'm gonna hit this. Now, if you look right down here, you see how that made an update, an entry? That's what that is doing. It's doing it so that that way we can let the player know that something has changed, and that's essentially what this is doing. So however you want to do this is really up to you. But I'm just going to show you how I went about it. The first one is just a generic one, so you just pass any message in. You could put it on the screen for a certain amount of time. The next one I did was a generic message. And say, okay, no matter what quest it is, no matter what you're doing, I also put a display time. It's right here, just 5-second delay. So that way when I come here under the generic, it's going to have the generic delay, no big deal. And then just here for this message, say, okay, I have just marked a new journal entry under, and then the quest name. All right. That way the player knows, all right, this quest has been updated. Now if I come over here, this one says, okay, I've made some progress. We insert the index. We insert the gather index. So whatever progress you made, we're gonna check each of those progresses, and we're gonna get the gather information from there. And I believe, is this in? I don't actually remember if I explained this function or not, or where this came from, actually. I'm very sorry if I skipped over this one, but we'll go over this now, I guess. Oh, that's probably why. I probably skipped over it down here. Sorry about that. This one, just to get branch. Okay, yeah. So this one, what all is doing is we want to check each of those indexes and let the player know that they made progress in each one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, turn it to an array. all the indexes I need to check. And then what I'm going to do is, this right here is the entry we need to find. And then from here, we should be getting the name. So under this entry, we get the name of whatever needs to be displayed. And then after that, what it's doing is it's coming here, it's getting the gather information for that index. So now we're going to append these. This right here is part of a plugin that I'm using. It is an amazing plugin that you can get for free. It is this one. Where is it? I'm surprised I can't find it right now. Right here, this one. This actually it adds in a lot of things for blueprints that are very useful that I use. One of them is this one. This is basically starts a new line. So like what it'll do is this temp name. So what I'm doing is I have this temp name, right? This is just it should just be temp string really, but this is just whatever you're trying to display, what I'm going to display in the end. So I'm going to go through all these gather things and say, okay, what is the objective here? I'm going to start a new line after whatever's been added. I'm going to start a new line. I'm going to add whatever the objective is. Now what I'm going to do is just put a semicolon. And this just inserts a tab. So it's going to like indent. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well here's how much progress you've made. I'm going to throw that in there. And then just a little division sign, so like, you know, space right here. Sign and then space just to make it look nice. And then I'm inserting in what the maximum you need. Throw that in there. And then that it doesn't need to be there. And then it's going to do a for loop on that. So each time it's going to append it. It's going to attach it to the end of whatever it already was. It's going to get the next index and say, okay, under this category, this is what you've done. Append it, and it's just going to keep running it through until you get to the end, and it's just going to return that. And that's all that's doing. So I believe I actually didn't set this up, so I'll show you how that works in action in 1 second. And this will also help so you can actually see why we're doing this. If I come here, and what did I actually name this again? I keep forgetting these. Gather info message display. Say gather message display. Okay, we'll throw this one right here. The entry I need to care about right now is under 1. I need to make one. I need to set, and 0 should be fine because I want this maximum gather index, and I want to say this is what needs to be displayed, that whatever this goal is for. And then under the dynamic, I'm going to come and check this one. So that's what that's going to be for. So now if I hit play, if I come around into this world, kind of walk around, just travel to these locations. All right. Now see that? Now see on the bottom how it said the get money quest? Oh, hold on. Crap. I should have done that. So if I come here, hit this again. 1 and 2. All right. You see right down here, this has been updated. So if I actually go grab a piece of money, right here, see all of a sudden it says, all right, for get money, I've just incremented that. If I come over here, hit this again, so that way it lets me know that I've actually been making progress within this quest. Each time I pick one of those up, so I don't have to physically come here, look, okay, I got that. It just tells me what's actually been updated. See that? And all of a sudden, get money's complete. Alright. Oh, sorry, you don't see that. Over here. So that's what that's doing. And, progress with get money. I'm just gonna add in a couple things here. I'm gonna add a quote here. And at the end of this, I'm gonna add a quote there. That way it just kind of looks a little bit nicer. Okay, so that's what that's doing. Now we got the generic message, we got the gather index message, and now what I'm going to do is another message right here that just lets the player know, well, it seems insert quest name here has been settled, and there you go. Now you know that this quest is done, and then we're just going to display that. That way the player knows, you know, something's happened, that this quest is finished. They can look at the journal if need to be, all that. Another thing that would be cool too is if you want to play a sound, maybe you'd add a some sort of function like play caps lock play player. Play sound at, play sound at location. You could just do this, and if you want to do like play a sound bite, generically just play a sound or whatever, you know, it's up to you. Next thing you want to do is quest index. This is just a ridiculously simple function. It's just literally because I'm lazy. So if you come in here, all it's going to do is you can take the quest index and it's going to increment it by amount. This amount by default should be 1. Right here, should be 1. It's not, but it should be. So that way, you're just going to increment it so we can keep track of what's going on in the quest. All right? It's ridiculously simple, but it's tedious, and you do this, it's quicker. Okay? This one is a do once. So if you have a part in the quest where for whatever reason this can keep firing off, but you need to make sure this only happens once. That's just what this does. So that it's just calling the macro we just made, and just put a do once in front of it. And I've ran into the situation where you actually need this in one of the quests I made. I don't remember why, but there was a situation where I needed this to be there, and that's why that's there. Next thing is these are just checks. All right. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna check. Okay. We have some sort of input item ID that's coming in, and we have some sort of input status that's coming in. We have some sort of whatever check it needs to be and whatever status it needs to be. All right. And what we're doing, we're just checking. Okay, do the IDs match? Is the ID coming in from the message the same as the ID that we're looking for? Do those match? Now, does the status match? Let's say we're looking to check if the player picked up this item. And that means this needs to be true, that player had to pick up the item. That means the status is matched. You picked up the item, you need to pick it up. Or maybe you dropped the item, and ideally you're supposed to drop it from your inventory. We're going to check to make sure that both of those conditions are true. And then if they're both true, that means you did whatever you were supposed to do. The next thing is status checkpoint. The whole point of this is say, okay, this is the actor that's coming in from the message. This is the check act. This is the actor with the status, and this is the status that's coming in. And again, we're just doing the check. We're checking. All right, does this actor match up the actor we're looking for? Does the actor that's changing also match up with the actor we're looking for? All right, that's what this is supposed to be. And then, does the statuses match up as well? Is what we need. So is the status over here the status we're looking for? If all those conditions are true, then we succeeded. Next thing, something similar with widgets. Yeah, that's what I did there. Something similar with widgets. I'm gonna actually just get rid of this, since I got rid of that earlier. Okay, this is annoying. Is widgets class relevant? We're just taking this, throwing it right there. And why did I do this? Hold up. Yeah, I don't know why I have this checkpoint here. I think I literally did it just to make it. Yeah. Not quite sure why I did this. This is kind of redundant and kind of stupid right now. But I'm just going to go with it for now. You might need to copy this down, I guess. But anyway, next one is the dialogue option. Is the ID that's input the ID we're looking for? You could probably even put in another check too to see if the actor is the correct actor you're supposed to be speaking to. Depends on how you want to go about it. I mean, this is just, oh no, this is you picking something. This is the player picking an option, sorry. If you watch my dialogue system, this will make more sense. But did the option that the player picked match the option you're looking for? And the next thing is speaking. Alright, let's see. This is the input dialogue. That's the NPC speaking. Is it before or after dialogue? This one is, alright, what's the ID you're looking for? Was it before or after dialogue that you're looking for? And these are just simple checks to make sure that, you know, everything goes in as planned. And that's the whole point of these checks. Alright. The next thing is back to, not the displays, the journal entries. Alright. First things first. This is just the update, like I said before. Sorry about that. The next thing is, okay, we're going to do that again. But this time, after you check if you succeeded in this, we're going to go ahead and just update some journals. And then you completed this task or it's incomplete. That's what this does. The next thing we're going to do is come over here. Same thing, we're just going to put the check down, and if you checked it, it's complete, we're going to update the journals. As you can, hopefully if this doesn't make sense right now why I'm doing this, after you see when we do this, when I show you how to make a quest, this will make more sense why we're just doing this. It seems so redundant. It's like, well, why don't I just place this down, and why don't I just place that down? It's just, you know, it's just a faster way of doing things if you really want to speed up the process. So it's, you know, just remember, whenever you need a task you need to do this. So it's like, you know, it checks this. Are these conditions met? Let's update the journal right off the bat so we don't have to put these out every single time. Next thing is check widgets. I'm going to get rid of this and say is relevant. Where is it? Sorry. There it goes. Alright. Throw that in there, throw that in there. There's that. And that false can go over here. Oh, and make sure you actually finish off these pins, because if you have any pins that are left not connected, it won't come out here for an execution. Just make sure you check that. All right. So that's what this does. Dialog option simple. It's just this again. We're just going to plug in those. It's going to go through. It's going to update the journals. Now branch. What was this? Oh, okay. So this is the whole idea. All right. The first one is you pick the dialog option. We just don't care what happens. You just picked it. The next one is, all right, did it need a speech checkpoint? If it needed a speech checkpoint, we can change the dialog option the journal entry depending on whether or not you succeeded or failed. That's the only point of that. Now this last one is just, okay, we're going to check whatever the NPC is speaking, and if they succeeded in whatever conditions you need, we're going to update. And that should cover all of that. As is, yep, that covers everything. So that's that. Now that all of that is complete, the next video I'm just going to go over, well, now that all that's complete, I guess what I can do is start making the quest, making the widgets right here to show you how we're actually displaying all this information on the screen. And probably try to start making a test quest for you guys so you can actually see what's going on. I might make the test quest first, and then just print some debug stuff. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, cause yeah, I'll probably show you how to set up the quest and then do the widgets after, so that way you can actually see the quest being done. We'll put it all together and actually have the displays, because this display might take a little bit. I don't know. I'll figure it out by the next video, but something's gonna happen. But anyway, see you next time.